Coming later on the NewsHour tonight, Margaret Warner in Tehran, a Gaza update, and an Ann Taylor Fleming essay. That's after this report on how Congress takes care of its very own. NewsHour congressional correspondent Kwame Holman reports.
It's a fact that has fiscal conservatives furious. Federal spending has grown more under President Bush than under any other president since Franklin Roosevelt. And just 2 months before the midterm elections, it's become a big concern among the Republican majority in Congress.
The rank-and-file voters across America are disgusted with the level of spending. And if they don't show up in big enough numbers to return the Republicans to a majority, it'll be because the Republicans in Congress let them down.
Following his failed bid for the Senate in 2004, former House Republican Pat Toomey became president of Club for Growth, which promotes conservative ideas for economic expansion. Toomey says cluttering spending bills with special projects known as earmarks is not one of them.
Now, it used to be back in the early 90s, in an average year, there would be a few hundred such projects, roughly one per member, and on average, $2 to $3 billion. It's just gotten to the point where everybody's gotten very, very greedy, and now there's 25 or 30 per member. We reached 14,000 earmarks in a recent year, and it's $29 billion. No longer small change now. $29 billion in 1 year.
One of those earmarks gained national attention last year. Dubbed by critics the Bridge to Nowhere, $223 million was allocated by Alaska Senator Ted Stevens for a bridge to connect one small town to an island of 50 residents. Then there was Republican Congressman Randy Duke Cunningham, who was convicted of accepting more than $2 million in bribes in exchange for directing earmarks to certain military contractors. The publicity prompted calls for reform from both Democrats and Republicans.
It's like any other evil. Unless you eradicate it, it's going to grow.
And the president got involved as well, asking Congress to give him a line-item veto.
It allowed the president to target unnecessary spending that sometimes lawmakers put into large bills.
The president got support from a determined group of Republicans, such as Paul Ryan of Wisconsin.
Having this deterrence, having this extra layer of accountability will bring the level of sunshine, transparency, and accountability to the spending and taxing process in Congress exactly where it is needed the most.
But efforts to scale back these targeted spending projects were opposed by powerful House and Senate appropriators who decide where federal money is spent. House Republican Mike Simpson of Idaho is one of them.
In areas we have differences with the president, that we want to fund something else rather than what he's recommended. Sometimes we will earmark something to say, spend this money this way, not another way. That's an appropriate use. That's setting policy. That's what we do. To suggest that just because it's an earmark is waste, I think is a fantasy.
Simpson's House colleague Jeff Flake of Arizona disagrees, and he's made it his mission to remove as many earmarks from spending bills as he can.
Are we here to serve our country, the best interests of our country, or simply look out for the interests of the House?
Flake's strategy has been to use debate time on the House floor to force sponsors of earmarks to defend them in front of C-SPAN's television audience. For instance,
Mr. Chairman, my amendment would strike funding for the Bronx Council for marketing local arts initiatives. My staff and I were befuddled as to what the Bronx Council originally was.